Everything that produces electricity requires silver. So it doesn't matter to me as a silver producer where the energy is being produced. You heard Elon Musk and Trump just in their last press conference in the White House, I think it's about 3 or 4 days ago, which I listened to. And I think they said that the United States needs to produce three times as much energy as they're currently producing. How are you going to do it? Nuclear? A nuclear power plant requires a ton of silver. All those rods in those nuclear generation facilities, require silver. You're going to rebuild the electrical grid. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter.
Silver is one of the most critical metals in our modern economy, yet one of the most misunderstood and, arguably, one of the most undervalued assets in the entire market. Unlike gold, which often grabs headlines for breaking new all-time highs, silver continues to trade at historically suppressed levels, despite its essential role in everything from electronics and medical equipment to clean energy and even military technology. What many people don't realize is that silver is not just a precious metal, it's an industrial powerhouse. Every smartphone, electric vehicle, solar panel, and data server contains silver. And as the world races toward electrification, AI technology, and renewable energy, demand for silver is projected to skyrocket in ways we haven't yet fully grasped. Yet, the price remains disconnected from this reality, and the reason why might shock you. In today's video, we'll explore what's really happening in the silver market, including how paper silver and complex financial instruments suppress true price discovery. More importantly, we'll look at the growing gap between industrial demand and shrinking physical supply, and why some experts believe we're heading straight into a silver supply crunch that could trigger one of the most explosive price moves we've ever seen. In a recent interview with ITM Trading, Keith Neumeyer, CEO of First Majestic Silver and a leading figure in the silver mining world, exposes some important industry secrets about the suppression of the silver market and why he believes it will soon come to an end. Keith has been sounding the alarm for years, warning that the market is ignoring fundamental supply and demand realities. In the clips you're about to see, Keith shares his insider perspective on why silver prices remain artificially low, why he believes major industries may soon face silver shortages, and what could finally force a breakout in silver prices. If you're an investor, a silver enthusiast, or simply curious about what's happening behind the scenes in one of the most critical commodities of our time, you'll want to pay close attention. Please watch, share, and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this.
We see it in price for sure. The price discovery is not what it should be. We always know there's a bunch of paper out there floating around, and it does act as a detriment to the actual physical silver price, which is always a concern of our shareholders. I can't tell you how many emails we get on a weekly basis of people complaining about silver price, and I feel the same way. I go to bed every night thinking, what the hell is going on in this market? And we're trading at 90 to 1, which is like absolutely ridiculous. And silver is required metal. It's a strategic metal. Without silver, we couldn't do this presentation. And yet it's not understood by the marketplace. And it's slowly being understood, but the process is very small. Everything that produces electricity requires silver. So it doesn't matter to me as a silver producer where the energy is being produced. You heard Elon Musk and Trump just in their last press conference in the White House, I think it's about 3 or 4 days ago, which I listened to. And I think they said that the United States needs to produce three times as much energy as they're currently producing. Okay, fine. So how are you going to do it? Nuclear? A nuclear power plant requires a ton of silver. All those rods in those nuclear generation facilities, require silver. You're going to rebuild the electrical grid. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter.
What will it take for the silver price to break out here?
And that's a conundrum I have constantly. And when I put this company together 21 years ago, I looked at, because I came from a copper company prior to that, and I looked at silver and I love the supply-demand fundamentals of the metal. And even today, it's dynamic. Yet, we're just not seeing it in the price. And is it going to take the retail investor? Is it going to take the institutional investor? Is it going to take industry? Like, I would not be surprised if we saw a big consumer of the metal not be able to produce their product. They just announced, sorry, we can't produce XYZ, iPad, iPhone, automobile, refrigerator, freezer, microwave oven, whatever the heck they're producing, and we have to shut down production because we can't get silver. That's what I'm expecting is going to happen.
Wow. Like a big player.
Yeah.
You're talking Apple-sized player.
Yeah, because all these guys are huge consumers, and they all keep it quiet. They keep it secret.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about it. The Silver Institute, does a terrible job in accumulating the data. And
they do a terrible job?
Absolutely terrible job. And because they don't have a clue about this, about the demand side of the business. Like you have a staff of like what, 3 or 4 people. What are they going to do? They're going to phone up BMW and Mercedes and Tesla and,
no one's ever been able to get the numbers,
and iPad or Apple and if you ask someone at IBM how much silver's in there, they would not have a clue. They don't even know.
So you're like, who really knows?
No one knows. Because all these components inside this device are outsourced from all these different places. Well, and all this company is doing is assembling it to sell you that product. So my guess is there's about 2 to 3 ounces of silver in there.
To fully understand the profound disconnect between silver's real-world demand and its current suppressed price, it's important to explore why this price suppression persists and who benefits from it. It's no news that the silver market today is dominated not by physical silver, but by vast amounts of paper silver, contracts and derivatives that trade daily in volumes far exceeding the actual metal available above ground. In fact, for every ounce of real silver that exists, approximately 350 ounces of paper silver are traded, a staggering figure that lies at the heart of the price manipulation problem. So why does this matter? It matters because it means that the price of silver you see on the market is not set by natural supply and demand, but by the ability of major banks to flood the market with paper promises. These banks, often acting as intermediaries for industrial giants like Sony, Apple, and others, lock in long-term contracts for silver at fixed prices. To protect themselves from rising silver costs, they short the market heavily. This dynamic creates a situation where banks are incentivized to suppress silver prices, because if silver were to rise too quickly, their entire system of hedging and contractual obligations could collapse under the weight of undeliverable promises. In the next segment, Keith Neumeyer takes us behind the scenes to explain in detail how banks defend their positions at all costs, why the ratio of paper silver to physical silver has become dangerously unsustainable. His insights offer a rare window into the inner workings of the global silver trade, and why a true market-driven price for silver has yet to emerge. Let's now return to Keith Neumeyer for this critical analysis of the forces shaping today's silver market.
What a bank's job is to protect their book, and that's what they do. So, and they'll protect their book at pretty well any cost, right? There's corporate governance, there's back offices, there's lawyers, there's accountants involved, behind these banks, right? So you've got a set of traders that are watching the screens and making trades. And I came from the trading business, so I started in the banking sector in 1984. I started in the mining sector in 1990. So I know the way the banking system works, and they're very risk adverse. But at the same time, they're going to protect their book as best as they can. So if Sony calls them up tomorrow and says, "Hey, look, I need 25 million ounces of silver delivered to these variety of ports around the world to produce whatever we're going to produce," whatever bank they do the deal with, they'll sign a 12-month contract at a fixed price, and so that bank will now deliver that physical metal. They know what the miners are going to produce, so they know their incoming metal. Right, because they've got, they're dealing with traders, and then so on. So they know what their risk profile is when they make those trades, right? But it gets offside now and then. They can't stand the retail investor because the retail investor is the unknown. They could, put put out headlines, if they could, try to dissuade through headlines and through media and so on and so forth, then they've got more control over the market. The second they lose control, then all of a sudden their paper hedge, which is about 350 to 1. So for every 1 ounce of physical metal that's sold into the marketplace, they're short 350 times that amount. So they're able to manage that, surprisingly, they can do it.
How did you get that number?
Well, do the math. So there's about 240 days of trading per year, and silver trades in the paper market about 1 billion ounces a day. So it's 240 billion. And the miners only produce 830 million ounces a year. So divide 240 by 830, and you get the relationship between the metal and the paper, right? And they manage it, and they've done a heck of a job, and they make a lot of money doing it. So when metal price, like in the Reddit, squeeze, what happened,
right.
When silver went from 18
yes.
bucks to 30,
yeah.
they stood there at 30 and just printed millions of contracts at 30 bucks just to stop it. And once the Reddit crowd stopped buying, they won, because they knew the buying was going to end, right? So once the buying ends, they take a breath, and they sit back and they go, okay, suckers, sell us back your paper silver. And this is what they do. And it's a constant game that they play. And the reason why we opened up our mint, is try to break that, right? So in 2024,
you're going direct to the investor.
Exactly. So we had 5% of our silver go through our mint, and if you do the math, times it by 240. You end up with a lot of silver that we're taking off the market. It's always a grind. Every bull market is a grind. We need to get through 34, 35 to really break out. But and you see the resistance. It's pretty obvious. These last couple of weeks. But I think we're going to be there. We're going into a little bit of a weak period. For metals. Always March, April, May. Somewhat a little bit suspect. And who knows what's going to happen? I don't have a crystal ball, but. By the end of the year, I'll give you a $40 call on silver.
All right.
And a $3,200 call on gold.
As you've heard from Keith Neumeyer, the silver market is far from transparent. Despite skyrocketing demand from critical industries, from tech and solar to electric vehicles and defense, silver continues to trade at artificially low prices because of the overwhelming dominance of paper contracts and financial engineering. But this system, as Keith warns, is becoming increasingly unstable. With global silver inventories shrinking, industrial demand rising, and mining supply facing ongoing constraints, it's only a matter of time before the physical market forces a price reckoning. And when that happens, those who've positioned themselves early could stand to benefit from one of the most significant revaluations in commodity history. The big question now is, will you be ready when the silver market finally breaks free from manipulation? If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more people understand what's really happening behind the scenes. Also, let us know in the comments. Do you think silver prices will finally break out in 2025, or will the manipulation continue? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss future videos diving deep into the world of silver, precious metals, and market truths the mainstream often ignores. If you want to learn more about the coming silver supply crunch or hear more from experts like Keith Neumeyer, stay tuned. We've got more powerful content on the way. Thanks for watching.